Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the first official episode of untitled.exe, the podcast. I am your host, Barack Bishore, and today I'm switching up what I said. In the intro, I don't know how many people watched it, but in the intro, I said I was going to talk about the trade deadline and a movie. I'm still talking about the movie, but I figured the trade deadline was 2 weeks ago today. There's nothing really new there. So I am going to be discussing just the rest of the NBA season. It hasn't started yet. We're still on the All-Star break, but I'm going to be discussing that. And in the second half, I will have my buddy Josh Owens on, and we will be discussing our theories, thoughts, and just overall discussing the movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, coming out from Marvel in, I believe, May 6th. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to go conference by conference, just East and West. I'm going to start with the East because I'll end with the East because I'm more passionate about the East because my team's in the East. So let's start out in the West. The West is kind of crazy right now. There's definitely teams that are a lot better this season than I thought they would be. I'm just going to go through the first 8 seeds. I know technically the play-in considers the 9 and 10 seed. I'm not going to talk about them because those teams can be kind of obscure, especially the 10th seed in the West. But yeah, so the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns at 48 wins and 10 losses on the season. I really like the Suns. I'm really, really glad to see that the Suns are doing well. I remember after they lost to the Bucks, I was really rooting for the Suns to beat the Bucks because I really wanted Chris Paul to get a ring. Chris Paul is one of my favorite players of all time. I haven't been super into the NBA for a long time, but I have always liked Chris Paul. I'm glad to see that the Suns are still doing well because I thought after they had lost to the Bucks in the finals this past season, I was 100% on the camp of that's it. The Suns window is closed. They can't do anything now. But they've been really good this season. They were on, what was it? I know it was historic, but I think it was a 16 straight win streak. And that is crazy. The fact that the Suns had this historic run is wild. I really like the Suns, but they are not my favorite to come out of the West. After I get done with the whole conference, I will talk about who I think is going to make it to the finals out of both conferences, and then I will make my finals prediction for the winner. Next is the Golden State Warriors. Wow. They have been incredible. Steph Curry this season was an MVP candidate. He's kind of hit a little bit of a slump. Not a slump, but he's kind of slowed down from what he was when he was breaking the record for most threes of all time. They're incredible. Klay Thompson has came back. Doesn't look like he's missed a step. Obviously, he's a little rusty. He hasn't played in 2 seasons, but he looks great. He's doing great. Jordan Poole has really stepped up this season. Been awesome. The Warriors have finally got their system back where they've just kind of clicked. They finally have all the pieces that have bought into the system, and the Warriors have just clicked. They're really killing it. So they're the 2 seed. Now, the 3 seed, I think, is the team on here that is the most surprising in a good way. I'll get to the most surprising in a bad way here in a second. I'd say the Grizzlies are either the first or second most surprising team in the West in a good way because they are 41-19. I forgot to say the Warriors are 42-17. The Grizzlies are 41-19. And honestly, I was not expecting this from the Grizzlies. I was expecting them to be a playoff team because I know they were play-in. I knew Ja Morant would take another leap and would continue to get better. But I was not anticipating 3 seed, 41-19 halfway through the season. That is insane to me. And you know what? Hey, good for the Grizzlies. I'm happy to see the Grizzlies doing good because they were a team that for a long time was good, but they weren't they were just kind of that pesky out. Like you knew you should beat them in the playoffs, but you can't just take them lightly because they could beat you. So they were just kind of that annoying first round exit, but that's all they ever really were. But now with John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. is having an insanely good season. Steven Adams is looking like a actually surprisingly decent pickup for the Grizzlies. I'm very happily surprised by the Grizzlies. Now, for the 4 seed, we're looking at the Utah Jazz, who are 36-22. They were the 1 seed last year. I don't really have too much to say about the Jazz. They're just, I don't know. I really like Donovan Mitchell. I don't like Rudy Gobert as his second star. I really wish Donovan Mitchell would ask out of Utah. They're never going to win. With those two, Donovan Mitchell will never win a championship in Utah. I really don't believe he will. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about them as if they're, like, ass this year. Like, they are the 4 seed right now. They're probably going to make the playoffs unless someone gets injured or something wild happens. So they definitely, obviously, always have a shot, but I just don't have faith in them. Moving on to the 5 seed, we have the Dallas Mavericks. It's just the Luka show out in Dallas. They're 35-24. The Mavericks, I think, need to step it up. They're not wasting Luka's prime because the dude is like 22 or something. Like, I think he's a year older than me. He is wild. If he stays with the Mavericks are going to be good for a while. But they have to figure something out to give him some help. Because especially now that they've traded Porzingis, who should have been their second star, he just didn't pan out the way that they were wanting him to. They need to try and make a move in free agency. But the issue is, it's like, who the hell's going to want to go to Dallas? I guess you're going to have to really persuade them to be like, hey, you can come play with Luka. But I don't know. The Denver Nuggets, I feel so bad for the Denver Nuggets, man. Last season, I really thought they were going to make it out of the West. They were looking incredible. And Jamal Murray goes down. I think it was an ACL tear. He's been out for the rest of the last season, like for the postseason. He's been out all of this season. I think he's going to miss this entire season. So similar to the Mavericks being the Luka show, the Nuggets, who are 33-25 at the 6th seed, have just been the Nikola Jokic show. Nikola Jokic has been an MVP candidate all season. He's been great. I don't really have too much to say about the Nuggets. They just feel bad, man. If they were healthy, they could be very good and would probably be championship contenders. Now, the 7 seed is a team I am very happy to see in here. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 31-28 at the 7 seed. You love it. D'Angelo Russell is my second favorite player in the NBA, only behind Paul George. Active players, I guess. And man, I love to see the Timberwolves winning. Anthony Edwards is cool. Karl Anthony Towns is cool. Obviously, D'Lo, like I said, my second favorite player. I love to see the Timberwolves finally getting back to winning. They were so bad for a while. But now after drafting Anthony Edwards, he's really kind of coming into it this season. God, you love it. You love to see it. I love that the Timberwolves are actually finally winning. They're a team I'm really excited about. I don't see them going very far in the playoffs, but just them hopefully making it to the playoffs would be awesome to see. I would love, 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 love to see the Timberwolves make the playoffs. Now, the second team, this is the only other team besides the Grizzlies that I'm like could be the most surprising to me, is the Clippers. They do have a losing record, but we'll push that under the radar for a second. The Clippers are 30-31. So like I said, losing record. They're under 500. But the Clippers are like insane to me right now. Like, I'm so shocked that they are anywhere close to good. Because Kawhi Leonard, best player, top 5 player in the NBA, arguably, probably. I don't even know if I should say arguably. I feel like he just is. Anyway, he got injured last season in the playoffs, similar to Jamal Murray. He's been out for all of the postseason last year, like the rest of it, and all of this season this year. And it doesn't look like he's going to make a comeback this season. So Paul George, like I said, favorite player in the NBA right now, was killing it. He was having one of his better seasons in the NBA with the Clippers this year. And then he goes out, I think with a season-ending shoulder injury, I believe. And as soon as I saw Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both were going to be out this season, I was like, that's it. Clippers are done. They're going to be a lottery team. I guess they'll get a good pick, blah, 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 whatever. No, they have really got the by committee part down. The Clippers, with how much the Clippers have dealt with injuries this season, there's no reason they should be even close, even 30 and 31. They should not be that good, or they should not even have close to a 500 record, and they definitely should not be the 8 seed. But they're doing great. I love it. I'm happy to see it. And then I'll talk about the Lakers briefly. The Lakers are the 9 seed. They are the most disappointing team, I think, in the NBA to me right now. There's nothing new to say about that, so I won't talk about it too much, just because, God, everyone in the sports world is talking about how disappointing the Lakers are. But 27-31 at the 9 seed. They're a play-in team, but God, man, coming into the season being championship contenders, and now they're like fighting to even make the playoffs is wild. So that is it for the Western Conference. Now, moving on to the Eastern Conference, I am going to go backwards because I want to talk about a certain team that is the 1 seed right now the most. So I'm going to start with, I'll briefly talk about the 9 seed, I guess, since I talked about the 9 in the West. The Hornets are one of the more fun teams to watch in the NBA, but God, they are definitely just an outscore you team. They do not have a good defense. They're not going to stop you from scoring. The only reason the Hornets are 29-31 at the 9 seed right now is because they're outscoring people. Their defense is not great. Team that came into this season as my championship favorites, the Brooklyn Nets. The 8 seed, they're 31-28. The Brooklyn Nets have been kind of screwed this year. Okay, they have been screwed, but they've also been kind of screwed to their own hand because of the NBA rule change with like how fouls work. James Harden was not that effective for a lot of this season. He just wasn't. He started to finally come into it before the trade with Ben Simmons and the Sixers. But they went on, God, what was their losing streak? They went on a wild losing streak. Like, it was, I don't want to say 11 games, but it was nuts. They should be better. I think now that they got Ben Simmons and hopefully they're getting Kyrie back, depending on what the New York mandate does, they should start climbing this ranking, or should start climbing the standings. The 7 seed with the Toronto Raptors, 32-25. To be completely honest, I do not pay attention to the Raptors. I know Fred VanVleet was a All-Star this season. I don't really got much else to say. Scotty Barnes, I have seen, has been really good. Rookie of the Year candidate this season. Yeah, I don't have much to say about the Raptors. The 6 seed Celtics, 34-26. Should be better. Celtics are one of the more baffling teams in the NBA to me. Obviously not as much as the Lakers, but the Celtics just should be good. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown alone should be good enough to make them higher than where they are, I guess. But they've been kind of struggling, but they've been slowly trying to put it back together. We'll see how they do in the playoffs. Can't say that they're out of it because they were an Eastern Conference championship team just 2 years ago. So we'll see. The Milwaukee Bucks kind of dealt with an injury. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks are the 5 seed. They're 36-24. And what I was going to say is that they've been kind of dealing with an injury bug this year. Their 3 big stars with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday didn't play that much together at the beginning of the season just because they kind of dealt with injuries and COVID stuff kind of at like different times, which kind of sucked for them. But of course, if you got Giannis, they're going to be championship contenders. Obviously, they're the defending champions. So I expect them to climb over. Technically, they have more wins than this next team I'm about to say, but they also have 1 more loss. So they should be the 4 seed, but the team that is is the Cleveland Cavaliers at 35-23. The Cavs, again, same vein of the Hornets, being one of the, if not the most fun teams to watch in the NBA. Man, they have been shocking to me. I did not expect the Cavs to be good. I was expecting them to be... So if the Nets are the 8 seed and Cavs are the 4 seed, I would have expected that to be flipped. I would have expected Cavs to be like borderline playoff team, if not play-in team, where the Nets were like higher up. But the Cavs have been shocking. Darius Garland, obviously being an all-star, been killing it. Jared Allen, all-star, he's been killing it this year, definitely proving that $100 million contract was worth it. Evan Mobley has been Rookie of the Year favorite for almost the entire season. I think he'll win it. He should win it. Yeah, good for the Cavs. I'm happy to see the Cavs. I really thought when LeBron left the Cleveland Cavaliers that the Cavs were going to go into obscurity, and they haven't. And good for the Cavs. Good for Cleveland. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see they have a competent team, which they could never do if LeBron wasn't there in the past. So happy to see it. Now at the 3 seed at 35-23, same record as the Cavs. The Philadelphia 76ers. Don't really have too much to say here except for Joel Embiid for MVP. He's been killing it. He is my MVP vote right now. Love to see that the Sixers are doing good because I like Joel. They just got James Harden, which is good. They got Ben Simmons finally out of there. I think getting James Harden to go along with Joel instantly makes them title contender. Well, they were already title contenders, but kind of moves them into the upper echelon of not even title contenders, but like very serious like championship, maybe favorites. We'll see. James Harden, I don't think has played for the Sixers yet, but we'll see. The Chicago Bulls. Oh my God, you love to see it. 38-21. They are the 2 seed, and wow. I love seeing the Bulls being the 1 seed, or being technically they're tied for the 1 seed. They're the 2 seed right now because of like tiebreakers and stuff. But man, I love it. The Chicago Bulls. DeMar DeRozan is another guy I think is getting kind of snubbed for, maybe not snubbed for MVPs, but God, he has been awesome. DeMar DeRozan went from being considered the worst signing of this postseason to being a godsend for the Chicago Bulls. And I love it. I love seeing it. Lonzo Ball, I don't know why the Pelicans let him walk, but they did. He's been awesome. Alex Caruso finally getting to show that he is not just a meme player on the Lakers. He is actually a good defensive player for the Chicago Bulls. He's been good. Zach LaVine, finally not just an empty stats, quote-unquote guy. He's finally on a winning team. Love it. Zach LaVine has been good for so long, just has had such a bad team around him. Now he's finally gotten a good team around him. I love it. Just overall, very excited to watch the Chicago Bulls win. And then the reason I started this list backwards, because the team I wanted to talk about the most is the 1 seed at 38-21. Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite NBA team, the Miami Heat. God, I love seeing the Heat as the 1 seed. They're tied with the Bulls, and they're only 2.5. Really, they're only 2.5 games of falling down to the 5 seed. It's just because the East is so tight right now. But I love it. The Miami Heat. The fact that we are able to be the 1 seed after having Jimmy Butler miss a pretty good amount of games. Bam missed a lot of games. The fact that we have been able to be the 1 seed this season is incredible to me, and I'm so happy about it. I don't know. With our team, I really, really, really think we can make it to the championship and possibly win it. Just saying. But we really have to make sure we stay healthy. That is the biggest thing. With COVID and injuries, we just need to stay healthy. And if we do that, I think we could be very serious championship contenders. Not all the people are calling us favorites, just because I think so much is going on with so many other teams right now that I think we're not really getting the recognition that we should. But in conclusion, Miami Heat, 1 seed, should be championship favorites. So, yeah, as I was saying, I think I guess coming out of the East, I have to pick the Heat. The Heat are the 1 seed. They're my team. I gotta rock with them. I really think they could do it, but if it's not the Heat, I really could see it being either the Nets or the Sixers. I don't think the Bulls will do it. I think the Bulls are very freshly good. They're very newly good. Like, DeMar DeRozan is the only player, I think, on the Bulls who has ever been a part of a team that has made it deep into the playoffs. So I think that their inexperience could hurt them. The Nets obviously have champions with Kyrie and Kevin Durant leading them. I think they'll be fine. If they can figure out how to start winning now that they've got Ben Simmons, if Kyrie can come back, I think the Nets could potentially move on. And out of the West, I'm going with my heart on these. I'm not saying that these are who will or who should, but who I want to. I want the Heat to make it to the finals, and I want the Warriors to. If the Warriors can make it to the finals, that is the team I would be okay with Miami losing to. I want Miami to win a championship, but I wouldn't mind the Warriors dynasty finally getting their getting their kind of last hurrah championship. Curry is only going to get older. Clea is only going to get older. Draymond is only getting older, and the league is rising up around them. I wouldn't mind seeing the Warriors getting that last hurrah championship, but I want the Heat to win, and I'm going to say they're going to win, again, just with my heart, not actually like, I would have to think about it a little bit more if I was going to put money on it, but that's what I'm thinking. So, that concludes the NBA talk for the Eastern and Western Conference standings. So next we have the discussion of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And now a quick word from our sponsor.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Alrighty, thank you from our wonderful sponsor. And now we are going to start watching the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness official trailer that was released on the day of the Super Bowl. I am here joined by Josh Owens. Josh, go ahead and say hi.
Yes, thank you for having me. Hello.
Yes, sir. So we will be breaking down the trailer, and then afterwards we will be discussing some theories and potential cameos of people to show up in the movie. So we will not be playing the video with audio because I'm not trying to get the shit taken down. So, alrighty, here we go. We'll go ahead and watch the whole trailer through, and then we will go back and then kind of break it down, and then discuss about it after.
Right.
All right. So now taking it from the beginning. First off, we'll kind of go through this. I'll slow it down a little bit, and we'll go through it at about maybe half speed.
Yeah.
Just kind of discuss it as we see it. So first off, the thing that I'm noticing at the very beginning is just kind of was this shot. This shot to me is really confusing.
Why do you think it's confusing? Exactly.
Because I can't tell. Maybe not confusing, but intriguing, I think is the first word comes to mind. Because obviously this is not reality. But I'm almost wondering if the evil Strange that we see later in the trailer that has like all of like the ghostly arms and stuff that I'll point out when we get there. I wonder if he almost sends Strange on a like trip similar to what the what's her name? The bald lady in the first Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, the Ancient One.
Yes. Yeah. The Ancient One sent him on that thing. I'm wondering if the evil Doctor Strange will send him on a similar one. And maybe that's why we see him and America Chavez falling through universes later, and that's why we see this. And this is just like a vision of like the sanctum being destroyed.
Right. And if you notice, there's a lot of the debris is like floating and turning into like black matter. It could be a callback to the What If, how everything was all liquidy and nasty. I was also watching a new Rockstars video today in research for this, and that red ring, I'm pretty sure they were thinking that that has something to do with Wanda.
Yeah,
right.
Could be, obviously with her chaos magic. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the What If episode, because that was the other thing I was thinking, is it at the end of that episode when his reality is being destroyed, because I mean there's nothing else here. There's a bunch of dead bodies, like obviously skulls and bones and stuff,
and the sanctum seems to be a bit taller than the original one.
Right. So this could be a reference to that, because obviously the cape's even different because it has that little like black square or whatever. So yeah, all right, I guess moving on.
Yeah.
And then there you see a little more of the chaos magic in the back.
You see that wheelchair?
I did on the cut breaking. I'll go back and pause that, because that was very I saw someone on TikTok point that out.
Right, we could be reading too much into that, but
yeah, that could just be like the
time,
wheels or something, but also
coincidental.
Yeah. And then this shot,
the star,
obviously. So this is obviously America Chavez, and then this is what was his name? Sidorak?
I can't remember right now.
Because I think it's the band. Because everyone, obviously, when Doctor Strange was fighting Thanos in Infinity War,
he was using the bands.
He used the red bands of Sidorak. So everyone's saying, and it makes sense that this could be the bands of Sidorak,
right?
Which I think definitely line up with what's going on. And then this obviously is a very poor CG version of the Defender Strange, who we later see obviously turn into a zombie. And then he wakes up in the bed. Did you see the picture I sent you?
Yes, I did see that. I highly doubt they will go with that, though.
That would be pretty funny, because obviously that's so. It was referencing the picture of like how Marvel always edits the trailers to like edit stuff out. And it had the two women in Strange's bed. Obviously, one of those is like Christine. What is the name of the other woman that I'm thinking of?
I'm not too sure, but that bed is too small.
I agree. I just thought it was kind of a funny comparison, but it's a thing. Everyone's saying that she might be in this. I had a picture of it, which we can discuss this later when we talk about cameos. But I think her name was Clea.
Clea.
C-L-E-A. Clea. We'll look into her more here in a second. But obviously, so he wakes up the Broken Watch, which obviously parallels back to the first movie.
Right.
And What If. We get the Marvel logo. Which I like how unique they're getting with the Marvel logos now. What are your thoughts with this shot?
Okay.
Do you have anything on this?
The red looks like it would be Wanda's magic. Now, if it's
Right.
Wanda's magic, then why is Strange using Wanda's magic? Because we've never seen this before in the MCU.
Correct. Here's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's kind of hard to see with the captions, so I'll turn the captions off. Look at his feet. There's a book there.
Right.
I'm wondering if this is maybe Strange manipulating the chaos magic that is in the Darkhold, which may be at his feet. And he's looking at maybe each one of these circles or balls or whatever are alternate realities maybe Wanda has looked at or gone through trying to find her children and Vision.
Okay. And do you think all these balls symbolize different realities? So he's going to look into
I
each
think
one of them?
I
or-
do. I think these could be maybe realities that he'll bounce between maybe in this movie or maybe just realities that he has to discuss with Wanda. Because obviously he's looking at him very
Right.
intently and then smashes him back into the book.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that that's the Darkhold.
You got those Sam Raimi sunsets going on.
Right. Yeah, a lot of this trailer, you can definitely see Sam Raimi's director influence on this.
Mhm.
And then again, the parallels to What If with the world disappearing. It's the same Doctor Strange because of the
Same
cape.
cape, yep.
So this could be the same vision of when the Sanctum was being destroyed.
Right. This could be a nightmare sequence, honestly.
It could be. And obviously Christine at her wedding. America Chavez. I think, going back to that, we'll see another shot of it here in a second. I think this shot, when she's running through the streets, this is the same streets we see Strange and America Chavez fighting that, like, monster later. I think this could be when she shows up. I think
could see it,
whatever that
honestly.
monster is could be fighting her,
Right.
and this is when she shows up in that universe. Or in our universe. And obviously we get Wanda surrounded by the circles, which obviously are also her new costume.
Right. I did see that they were pointing out the differences.
I do think I like the WandaVision costume more.
You think so?
I do. I think I don't remember like much about it, but I do remember like exactly what it looked like. But yeah.
This scene right here.
This scene is very interesting because this one was in the TV spot as well.
Right.
But it was like the complete opposite, and we actually see it later in this trailer, I think.
Notice the clothes.
Exactly, same clothes. This is something I did definitely want to ask you about. So obviously we see Strange and Wong here in the foreground. What do you think those clouds are?
I'm not too sure. Do
'Cause,
you,
like,
do you have like
it-
thoughts or?
I don't. Like the only... They're both kind of jokes. But the
Okay.
only two things I've ever thought of with this was Storm, which, why would Storm be attacking
This is true. Right.
the thing? But obviously it just looks like a storm, so I thought it was Storm. And then the joke one I thought of was Galactus from the Fantastic Four movies.
Right. No.
Do you
It's
remember
the
that?
Human Torch.
Oh my god. You know what I'm talking about though, right? Remember that shit?
I don't know
The giant,
why.
like, cloud
I
in
don't
the
know why
space.
they did that. You know what? Go them.
Those are the two things I thought of. Obviously neither of those are gonna be true. And then this guy, I've seen a lot of people talk about him. Do you know anything about him?
Do not know a lot about him at all, actually.
And
But
I think I saw everyone says his name is Reintar, something like that.
I literally heard his name today, and I just cannot remember.
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, he might be important, I guess.
Could be. Could be.
This,
a side
I feel like this is going to be important, though. Whatever that cloud is going to be important. Just don't know what it is. And then this, I saw everyone saying with the first teaser that could be the remnants of America Chavez's like homeworld.
Right.
or like where she lives in the space between realities. That could be where she's arriving, but also, so obviously there's America Chavez and Strange. Christine being here is very interesting.
Right. Look at her outfit as
Why
well.
is she with them? Yeah.
Because we haven't discussed
so
the Illuminati yet.
Correct. So her being there is going to be very interesting.
Right.
And then obviously Mordo, rocking new hair. More of the universe being destroyed.
Same cape.
Exactly. Haven't seen that cape anywhere. And this is where we start to get the big stuff that was previously leaked. So obviously the handcuffs. Almost this exact shot was leaked at one point.
Right.
And then
I believe you and I even were geeking about that for like a little bit.
I do. Yes, because this is the leak that
they called us
me and
crazy.
you are thinking of right now is exactly what we're seeing right now. I will come back to this after we watch this trailer because this I really want to discuss, but it has to do with the shot with a different shot. So we'll come back to those spots here in a second. And then the big shot. I'll pause it here in a second right now. Oh, damn it. Okay. So, I was kind of hoping they would show it again. This man you see walking right here, right? That is definitely Mordo.
You think so?
Which leads me to believe that this Mordo is actually a member of the Illuminati. He might be replacing Doctor Strange in what we know of the Illuminati.
I feel like he's the one replacing like Black Bolt.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, just obviously, I know the only reason I think that this Mordo is in the Illuminati is because if you look at the shot, look at him, look at his hair.
Right.
You can tell it's a little bit longer. He has like what looks to be a sword. So unless that's Heimdall for whatever reason, that is definitely him. And then we have this person, which I've seen many different people taking their thoughts on. Some people are saying it's Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
Some people are saying it's someone else. I think it is Mr. Fantastic.
I could see it.
Because it's an all dark suit except for this one little like circle.
I wish we could zoom in on here.
I do too. Unfortunately, YouTube on the computers is lame.
It's alright.
And then this figure is... Oh, yes, that was the other character I was remembering. I couldn't think of it at the time. Black Panther.
Yes, that was I saw that on TikTok, actually.
Because it's like... Obviously, there's like the bright piece here, but you can't tell if it's like a circle or if it's like a necklace. So what I wondered would be interesting is what if they brought back... Killmonger, and Killmonger is a part of the Illuminati.
What if they use that as a way to recast the Black Panther?
I was also kind of wondering that because obviously this movie somehow is going to introduce the X-Men and all of them into the MCU.
Or at least hint at their entry.
Right. So some people from this movie that are in other universes are probably going to cross over.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So that could be... What is Denzel's son? He's the guy we've talked about. What is his name? We've talked about him replacing T'Challa.
John David Washington.
I think that's it. That obviously that is just a fan cast.
He's my top pick,
but
honestly.
I'll use him for example. That could be his version of T'Challa, and then he comes into the MCU and he is our new Black Panther, and Letitia Wright can go fuck off. But what is interesting, if you know, I saw people pointing out, is his head stops about like right at the top of my cursor, right? Like, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but like right in the middle of the back of the chair. This person's head goes to the top of the chair, meaning they are much larger than this person. I'm more curious to figure out who this is than this.
I don't know why I thought that was like Wanda when I first saw it. I don't know why she'd be up there though.
My immediate thought, and I know he wouldn't be in there. He's never been a member of the Illuminati, and it wouldn't make sense for him to be there, I don't think. But Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom. That'd be interesting.
Obviously, it's a huge figure. The hood.
Right.
Obviously, sitting in the chair with the way we always kind of see Doom sitting in the chair.
And then we assume Professor X is in the middle.
Yes, because obviously there's no chair there. There's 7 members.
Right.
There's 1, 2, 3, preferably a third chair here. And then
we also get a better shot at this in the TV spot.
Correct, which we can watch here in a second if you want. And then obviously Patrick Stewart's voice.
Yeah, that's him.
The bald head that rolls in.
Did you see the interview of him saying, "Oh, people are good at imitating me"? It's like, that's bullshit, bro. We know it's you.
Like, bro, like your voice is too recognizable. You roll up, and it's literally a bald head.
Right.
Like that can't be. There's no one else that really could be.
Don't lie. You're not Andrew Garfield.
And then obviously, so this was the shot. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pause it in time.
You got it. Oh, damn.
Yeah, fuck, I almost had it. But it's this shot, right? Fuck, I'm not gonna get it.
Just press spacebar.
It's the fucking. I'm gonna slow down even more because I really want to ask you about this. There it is. Perfect.
The animated.
What do you think about this? Do you think...
Honestly...
At first, I was like... At first, I thought it was just like an unfinished CGI world.
Right.
But you can see here, Strange is changing into animation.
Right, look at the cone. It could be the what if universe crossing over.
What's what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I thought at first this may have just been unfinished CGI, so like that it was just kind of like... I don't know. But then I saw this, and I'm like, that is definitely Strange changing into animation.
That dude Eric Voss was saying that... in the promotion for this, that we see Captain Britain's shield.
We do in the poster.
Or Captain Carter, my bad.
Along with God knows a million other potential.
So
cameos.
them breaking into this universe could be a way for her to be introduced into the MCU. So
exactly. So that is very interesting. I'm very excited to see what that.
I wonder if are they going to just CGI Halley Atwell to just be this hulking gladiator?
Oh, probably, because there's no way she's going to do the workout routine that Chris Evans did.
Oh, well.
I mean, she could. But...
And then this shot, you can see this dude just turning the stone.
Right, which this... I know this has nothing to do with it, but my immediate parallel here was Drax in Infinity War when he was fighting Thanos. But obviously, Strange, I don't think, is willingly going through this. No. America Chavez is with him. I think this could be another thing with a potential, maybe evil Strange sending them on a trip type thing.
Could be those moments where she's like, "I'm gonna show off my powers," and then Strange is like, "Oh, you're strong. Let's work together."
That is also true because she looks pretty straight faced in that shot.
I've done this before.
I know what I'm doing. And then this, I think everyone's blowing this out of proportion.
You think so? I really like
when I'm saying evil Strange, this is not who I'm referring to. I think this is just a darker version of Doctor Strange. I don't think this version is going to be evil. I don't know, because I feel like he could be evil, obviously, like his look, the way he talks, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also wondering if this is going to be Strange from What If.
Like before?
Which if that's... No, like after the Watcher... like after Strange got trapped in his own little bubble.
Right.
And after all that happened, like... I'm wondering if somehow our Doctor Strange, MCU Doctor Strange, got this one out of the What If universe, and that's who this is. Because they look very similar.
They do, a little bit, yeah. So I assume when you're talking about Evil Strange, you're talking about Zombie Strange, which is...
Defender
Right,
Strange.
That's what I'm thinking. With the hair and the evil voodoo magic.
Right. And then this shot, goddamn...
This broke the internet.
We've already talked about this so much.
This broke the internet.
Yeah. I definitely saw this at first night because I sent it to you.
Right.
I 1,000,000% thought this was Nova.
Oh, yeah. From the back, too. That's the one that sold me.
Because it looks like they're wearing a helmet.
Here, try to zoom up on them.
Let's see if there's another. Oh shit.
That one.
Yeah, this shot too.
That's the one. You had me convinced that one.
See, but this one, I think, okay, so you know how there's this shot that everyone's like, obviously that's a black woman.
Right.
So it's probably Monica Rambeau.
I was thinking...
And then there's the...
I was thinking either it was Monica Rambeau or her mom. What's her name?
Yeah. That's who I meant to say.
Maria Rambeau.
Not Monica, I meant to say Maria. But because and then obviously there's Wanda's chaos magic all throughout the rocks.
Right.
They are 100% fighting in the what's it called? The Illuminati's area.
You think so?
Well, just because of the shot, which I'll show you in a second. But what I wanted to bring up, which I never really thought about until just now, the shot we're looking at now.
Mm-hmm.
What if this is Iron Man?
Iron Man.
How we've been saying the other shot that like how the TV spot looks like it has like a white guy with a goatee.
Right.
It could be potentially superior Iron Man. Look at that's not the same hair.
True. It looks more of a cover, but I don't know. I don't know, dude. I genuinely
see how like obviously like a buzz cut, and then kind of longer hair. Not that sack shot, but you know what I mean.
Well, he's not flying with that Iron Man pose though. He's got one arm outstretched, just like Superman.
That is true. I was gonna say maybe it's Clark Kent.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we're getting the DC
most ambitious crossover.
But yeah, so this is
I
right
love
here.
this shot.
It's a great shot, but this is why I know that they're fighting in the.
You're right.
The place, and then obviously, fight comes through, and then this is just more of the battle at the place. I forget what it's called. America Chavez.
I'm curious how people are going to receive her as a character. I'm excited for her, honestly.
I'm very excited for her, but I don't know how she fits into the bigger MCU outside of this movie.
Right, I could see her in more shows, if anything.
I can agree with that. And then, obviously, so Strange's face looking at her kind of confused, her saying, look out, and then this thing attacking. I think this is when she arrives. I think this is when she first shows up. In the
her
MCU.
saying look out in that speed is honestly the funniest thing I've seen. Can we see that one more time? Just I don't know, something about that was just funny.
It just sounds weird.
Anyways,
I also literally never heard this actress talk, so I don't know what her voice sounds like. This shot. Okay, what do you think is the deal with this shot?
look at him unshaven. Look at that.
I know, it's weird.
I mean,
don't
fully
like it.
shaven. My bad. Unshaven. Him versus unshaven.
You know what I did see a lot of people questioning? So obviously there's the trees here, which are also what appeared in Wanda's...
Right, the white ones.
Right. But I saw someone theorizing that may have been a plot leak or just a rumor or whatever. But in this universe, this is actually Superior Iron Man's universe. And in this universe, Doctor Strange sacrificed himself instead of Iron Man.
Interesting.
And that's why this is this memorial thing. I don't know if I believe that. I think this might be might be Defender Strange's universe. And maybe he has a bit of an like egotistical thing, and this is his like honor me type shit.
He does have a beard though, so it could be him from like an earlier time, or
that is true.
I don't know.
Or this could also just be a vision because of Wanda's
True,
trees.
it could be a dream sequence, a nightmare sequence versus dream sequence.
Right. So we'll see that shot. That'll be interesting. And this is obviously the same shot. Same clothes, same everything. This was very interesting when I saw this. I know the Wanda stands are going to go crazy.
They always do.
But I guess we're going back to Westview.
That's fine.
I'm assuming that's what this is.
I liked WandaVision, so.
Yeah, I did too. But yeah, this will be very interesting. I'm wondering if because obviously if we're gonna have two Wandas in this, I'm also wondering if one of them could team up with Evil Strange or Defender Strange, whichever one it ends up being. And those two are gonna be the big villains in this movie.
We know Wanda's gonna be a villain somehow, some way.
But is it going to be our MCU Wanda or a different one?
That's what I'm curious.
Oh, I guess
that was a good shot. New Rockstars.
This kind of answered my question.
Well, New Rockstars was saying he could be breaking him out right then and there because he's in that room with the chairs in this shot.
Right. When I was saying that Mordo's going to be a member of the Illuminati, I didn't even pay. I had honestly kind of forgotten about this shot. Mordo has to be, or else how would he be here?
So
You know,
okay, that's
like
fair.
if he's in the Illuminati room, how? If he's not a member of the Illuminati,
That's a good catch. I think you might be right about that, honestly.
because obviously these are the handcuffs that he was walking
Right.
into the Illuminati
With
with.
those Ultron bots.
Right. And then Wong, I'm still convinced Wong dies.
I
in this
don't know
movie.
if that's Wong. Is that Wong?
I thought it was.
I thought it was too.
I'm pretty sure that's Wong.
Is that?
That looks like Wong. It might not be, but it looks like it.
Mm.
But this shot, I think, to me, is obviously a Sam Raimi shot with the eye. Sam Raimi loves his eyes.
That's fine.
But this, to me, I think, not only shows that I think Wanda is going to kill the Illuminati.
You think so? Would they be that bold to
think so.
kill off the Illuminati?
I think they
Or
should.
would they?
Not could, but they should. Because it'll be a good way to bring back actors, but not have, after this movie, Marvel fans being like, oh, why can't this one come back?
It's true.
Like, we'll get into it in a second with cameos, but the the Mr. Fantastic potential John Krasinski cast,
Dreamcast.
if he's not going to be the MCU one, but just the Illuminati one, when the MCU Mr. Fantastic shows up and it's not John Krasinski, people are always going to say, like, let's get John Krasinski back in here to do this, or let's get Patrick Stewart back to be Professor X.
Or Hugh back as Wolverine.
Right. So I think, and then also all the blood on her face, which is very intriguing to see Marvel go a little bit darker.
They did say this was going to be a horror-toned film.
Right. And then this is obviously, so a lot of people saying this was Null.
No.
They would not introduce Null this early.
Yeah, no. They got a lot to explain.
I don't even know. I don't think they'll ever introduce Null, to be honest.
Maybe in like 5 years.
Maybe. But yeah, so obviously this is Defender Strange. But yeah, and then that's the trailer. They didn't have like a post-trailer credits or whatever.
Which is odd.
Normally they do.
Look at that circle. Looks like the shield. Could be reading too much into it.
I didn't even notice that. It does.
But
so I guess the last thing I want to say before we get into the cameos real quick, and then we'll end this thing off. What are your thoughts about the movie so far?
Okay, so
like, what are expectations, I guess?
Definitely a lot of CGI. Hopefully they can do that right. Sam Raimi, I feel like he never really misses with the soundtracks. I'm not too sure on who's doing that. I'll have to look into it. But so far, it's looking good. I told you I was worried about them making this a more lighthearted film instead of sticking to the dark material. But that shot with Wanda with blood running down her face, what's another few shots in here is like, oh, this is going to be a darker film, which I hope it is. But
yes. Also, the noticeable lack of jokes in the trailer.
Yeah, no Scooby-Dooing crap or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, I hated that line. That's like the one thing from every time I watched No Way Home. Every time he said Scooby-Doo this shit, I am like physically cringe.
No, it's terrible lines. I don't know who wrote it, but they need to do better than that.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about the movie right now, except I'm excited. Definitely gonna go see it midnight premiere. And I think that is about it. So go ahead and wrap this thing up. Yeah, so that was the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness official trailer breakdown. And yeah, so that'll do it for the first official episode of untitled.exe. Join us next week for a review of the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. See you later.